Dr. J here from the She Protects YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about predators and specifically where these predators are hanging out. Now let's face it, there are predators everywhere, and I could make you a list of 1,000 locations that they may be lurking. But I specifically want to focus on 8 locations that I feel are particularly important. And I think some of these locations may surprise you. So if that's of interest to you, stick around. We're going to get started. Predator location number 1 is the gas station. Gas stations are an area of high criminal activity. So why is that? Well, I think there's several reasons. One, it depends on the location, but a lot of gas stations are located near major highways, and these guys want to do their hit and have an easy exit. And some of those locations make it very convenient for them to be able to hit, steal, thief, whatever, and go. So that's one attractive aspect for a gas station. 2, you already have your money out. So the wallet is right there dangling before the criminal's eyes. They just have to approach you and get it in whatever form that they're going to choose to do that. And 3, gas stations are an area that you're comfortable with. You go there all the time, and associated with that oftentimes can be complacency, or we can take things for granted. We can be distracted. We're on our phone, whatever the case. And the fact that we're not paying attention gives them an entry point to approach us and get us off guard. So for those 3 reasons, I think gas stations tend to be a high hit rate for predator activity and predator hangout. Predator location number 2, the rest stops. If you're a single female on the road, I would avoid rest stops at all costs. Now, why is that? Well, there's a couple of factors. One is location of these rest stops. Like the gas stations, it can be an easy hit and go for the predator. So whether they're robbing you, stealing your vehicle, or doing something worse, it's just too easy of a location for them to do their bad deed and go. 2, generally when we're traveling, oftentimes we can do and take lengthy trips and we're tired. Or they know we're in an area that we're not necessarily familiar with. Let's say they're seeing an out-of-state license plate. So these all are attractive things for a predator to consider you as a prey. So if you're a solo female on the road and you need to stop, I definitely recommend maybe a fast food restaurant like a McDonald's or a Taco Bell, something of that nature. But I would avoid rest stops at all costs. Predator location number 3, parks, public parks, private parks. If you are a solo female, I would avoid these locations. It's one thing to go with a group, but by yourself, I wouldn't go at night, but I also wouldn't go during the day. This is a common hangout for a predator, and they're just looking for an opportunity. So somebody, let's say, you're thinking, well, I'm sitting out on a public bench. There's tons of people around. How bad that can be. Well, that might be a safe situation, but what if you end up having to go to the bathroom or some area of the park that maybe isn't as well populated? It's just not worth it. We know that they hang out there, and so I just wouldn't put yourself in that position. Predator location number 4, isolated trails. I'm a big hiker. I used to run a lot, and I can tell you that when I think about some of the places that I used to go, it makes me cringe because of the risk I was taking. It's just too easy for somebody to jump out, take you by surprise, and ambush you. So if you're a solo female, I know the urge of, God, that looks so inviting, or I want to go down that trail because I want to see the waterfall at the end, or whatever it may be, but it's just not worth it The isolated trail as a solo female, even during the middle of the day, I think during the evening or early morning hours is just obvious, but even during the middle of the day, you can be ambushed. So I would recommend avoid those locations as a single female. Predator location number 5, parking garages. If I'm traveling by myself, I avoid parking garages at all costs. And why is this? Well, they're usually oftentimes areas that they're very isolated, they're not well lit, and there's a million places for a predator to hide. Jump out from behind a car or in between cars. They can even be underneath your car so that when you're getting in, grab your leg and start their attack then. So parking garages as a single female, I would avoid. If you have to go to a parking garage for whatever reason, I would recommend that you park as close to the area that you're going to be going towards people, which is usually an elevator area, as you possibly can so that you don't have a long walk to and from your vehicle. Predator location number 6 would be the subway system. Let's face it, you're down underground in a dark spot with a tube that's going at a high speed. And now it's hard to avoid the subway system. If you need to use the subway system, you need to use it. But I lived in New York for a number of years, and there's just sort of a certain code of conduct on how to use the subway system safely. So let's go through some of that, because it's oftentimes people who are unfamiliar with the subway system, maybe tourists, that are getting themselves into trouble. So you want to get on and off at stations that are high traffic areas. You don't want to get off at an isolated station. So let's say you need to go an extra half mile up and you want to go to that one station that hardly anybody's at. I would get off at the station before, if it's a busier station, and just walk the extra half mile. 2, I wouldn't travel the subway system at night alone as a female. Just not a good idea. I would definitely have friends with me. So for subway stations, you just have to forego the urge to go at times where there's not going to be a lot of people around, or to select stations where they're more isolated. Predator location number 7. This is an obvious one, but I think it's worth talking about a couple of specific points. And that is the internet, or cyberspace, or online. 2 things to mention. One is the dating sites. I still hear from women that meet men online and then go to more remote locations or over to one of their houses. They give up their house location, or they go over to his place. It is just not wise. If you're going to meet somebody on a dating site, you want to meet for the first time, recommend you do it in a public location. But I see people take risks all the time with that. The second point I want to make is, let's say you want to sell something, you're advertising something online. If it's a small item, let's say china or a book or something of that nature, meeting somebody at a public coffee shop, that'd be a good idea. But let's say it's a bigger item, like a large TV or a couch or a refrigerator, something of that nature. What can you do? Well, I'd recommend that you rent a storage facility for, let's say, a month until you can get the job done, and you store that item in that facility. And I would recommend, if you do get a storage facility, that you choose one that is outdoor facing, that has good camera systems around a high security level storage facility, and that when you do meet somebody for the potential sale of your item, that you do not go alone, that you bring somebody with you. So a lot of the discussion here today is about being a solo female and the safety tips and the predator hangouts accordingly. But When it comes to, let's say you want to sell a couch and you put that couch in a storage facility that has an outside location so that it's well lit and you have good security camera systems, I would still bring somebody with you. And I say this, I'd like to share a story with you that happened within my life, and that is, we had, during my childhood, a very good family friend who lost their life trying to sell an item that at that time everything was advertised in the newspaper. But she wanted to sell her boat, which was stationed at a dock in Southern California. And so she made an appointment to meet with this man 1 o'clock in the afternoon, bright of day, on the dock, which had activity. And she did not walk away from that experience. So he shot her in the head. So that's why I say that if you want to sell your couch or some big item, even if it's during the middle of the day, have somebody go with you. It might be inconvenient, but it's the safest thing to do. Predator location number 8, ride shares, Uber, Lyfts. If you are a solo female, I would avoid these at all cost. And these are great services and very convenient. If you're in a group, that's one thing. If you're going with 2 or 3 friends, but if you're traveling solo, I just wouldn't do it as a solo female. It is the equivalent, in my opinion, of would you get into a hitchhiker's car? Although these companies go to great lengths to vet and interview and make sure they're hiring good people, well, what if you get the one bad apple that slips through and that's the ride you take? I'm just not willing to take the risks. I don't feel it's safe for the solo female. I would avoid the Lyfts, the ride shares, if you're a solo female traveling. Okay, so those are 8 common predator hangouts. I hope that you found the contents of this video to be helpful. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button. It's going to really help me to know what kind of content to produce going forward for you. I also wanted to just thank you for taking the time to watch the video. I really appreciate it and hope to see you in the next one.